Hi, thanks for watching this video about Xcode with Swift and SwiftUI. And what I want to do is, I want to just take a simple template that the project generates and then add a couple of buttons onto it. Now it's an older version of Xcode on here because the OS, it's the Mac OS Sonoma 14.5. which is just like a couple of years old, so it won't allow me to use the latest version of Xcode. So I've had to go on to developer.apple.com, and then from that, like sign in, and then download an older version of Xcode version 16. So that's what I've got on at the moment. It's a MacBook. It's a MacBook Air. So I've just run up Xcode. Then I've just gone into it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with just create a new project. Create a new project. So now it's just something just to run on this machine. So app and then macOS options, those are fine for what I want. So I'm just going to go on to next then. And then I'm just going to call it new. It's just a new, something is brand new. Just have a look at the template called new. And next. And then it'll just go in the other projects that I've done with this. In fact, I'll be looking at X3 because that's a sort of an illustration of what I want to do from the actual template. Just to save me typing it all, I'll just be going to X3 and then highlighting the difference between what we get now and what I've added on. So it just sits in my desktop folder, or it's going to when I put it in a new project called new. So I'm just going to do click and create. So it's doing a scale. So what it's done then, it's just created a new project with the name new, and so what you get the header just saying like created by Rob with the date, and then you get some source code just for the container itself in the Swift language, but then importing the SwiftUI library. And all that is basically, it just shows a frame containing an image with the globe and some text saying hello world, which is just that, and that's the preview of it. So what we'll do is, I'm just going to run this now. So I'm going to go into product and then run. So it's compiled okay. And that's sometimes, and it's just good that the program sitting there and then it's got a warning message about an unidentified, well obviously I mean the unidentified developer, that's me, so it shouldn't be a problem with that. And it's just the template that the code itself has just generate. So this is just what I get just from creating a new project. So we can see then we've got the globe, which is the image, and then hello world, and that's all, and that's just all in this window. So that's all it does. So it's not, it doesn't actually do anything. So what I'm going to do now is, let's just come out of that, because we're actually in the application now, new. So I'm just going to quit out of new. Now what I want to do is, I'm going to flip into exercise 3, and then that's going to be this plus the stuff I've added in, and I'll show you what I've added in to add the two buttons. Because it says it's got this constant text hello world, but I would like to add some buttons so that we can change that text. So I'm going I'm just going to flip into open. And exercise 3 is the one with the 2 buttons in it. Right, so that's basically what we saw a minute ago, but I'm going to show you what I've added. Now, so the image widget with the parameters globe and the other parameters and that haven't changed that. Now, the text used to say hello world, but I've now made that a variable. The caption on that is a string called op, which we're going to change. So the first thing I've had to add was, if you see this line here, state private var op equals hello. So that's what you're going to see initially on the thing, on the actual text string instead of hello world, because it's now tied to my variable called op. So that's now changed. So instead of text hello world, it's text calling up op. And the other 2 things I've added, in fact, I think the only other 2 things I've added, is just these 2 buttons. So I've got button, and the caption says, say Joe, and then the curly braces, that contains basically what I want to happen when I click that button, like the event associated with it. So I've got a button called say Joe, and what happens when I click that? It's going to change this caption text to hello Joe. And then I've got something the same, another button saying say Tom, and then it's going to do the same thing. The text is then going to change to hello Tom. So that's all. So the only things that I've added from the template, I've added these 2 buttons. I've now made the text call up op instead of a constant string, and then the op itself, oops, I've made that a variable. So that's the bit that I've added on. So what we're going to do now, it's now called exercise 3. So what I want to do is now, I'm just going to say product run. So it'll just do another compile. So build succeeded, that's like the compilation. And now, instead of just the globe with hello world, I've got the globe with hello, buttons called say Joe, and another button called say Tom. So when I click say Joe, the text changes to hello Joe, just as I've told it to. I click say Tom, hello Tom, hello Joe, and hello Tom. And then what you could do is you could add another button to say quit, and then that would have, I didn't want to have too much in this because this is just illustrative purposes, but you could, in real life, you'd probably have another button to say quit, and then inside the braces would just be the function exit. So I can come out of this window, but the application's still there. So I've then just got to exit exercise 3 in that. So it just put me back into the code editor, so you can just see the changes that I've made. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you.